So starting off, this is obviously just completely my opinion. Uh, if you disagree, leave a comment. Tell me what cards you think I missed. And then, other than that, none of this footage is mine. So all of the footage I used is linked in the description. So kicking it off, we have Madden 16 Jury Archer. This was a completely different era of Madden. At the beginning of the year, if a fast card came out with good physicals, you could use him in your team until late in the year. Madden has completely kind of gotten rid of that idea, and pretty much you can't even have a base elite on your team by the time it's January, December in Madden. But Dree Archer, when I say he was that guy, he was that guy, and he was going for 3,000 coins on the auction house. Like there were so many of them out there. It wasn't even like he was a super rare card. Like when it came to Madden solo challenges, all you needed was a Dree Archer card, strong close halfback toss, and the computer literally could not stop you. Yeah, Dree Archer, it was a different time. He will forever go down as a Madden legend. I couldn't really put him any higher because at the end of the day, he is a 64 overall silver card. So, given the time period of the game that he came out in, those super high physical, low overall cards were really enjoyable to play with in Madden. Then moving over to the next card, we have Madden 22 quarterback Derrick Henry. Once again, escape artist, gunslinger on a Derrick Henry card. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't know why Madden decided that this was a good idea, but this is back when you could roll around the pocket, throw on the run, perfect accuracy. Like look at this clip right here by Throne. On the run, or not on the run, but like 80 yards downfield. Boom, touchdown, right on the money. And this is a Derrick Henry card, and this is only like ultimate free, so this is like December in the game, so it's not even super late in the game's life cycle. And it was just super consistent. You could do any of that stuff with Derrick Henry. So it was a wild time. Madden 22, Derrick Henry. That is my number 9 pick. And I feel like number 9 is a pretty good spot for him because it just seems like every quarterback in this year's game was pretty OP. Like you could make on the money throws with just about everyone on the run. And then next on my list, I feel like it just wouldn't be valid without some type of Night Train Lane card. So I got the Madden 16 Blitz Night Train Lane. In my opinion, he was an absolute monster. He could run, he could jump, he could hit. That's what he's known for, is he could hit. So I really miss this type of card. You put him in the flats in the cover 2 back when cover 2 was still pretty popular in Madden. We had like the nickel blitz type of meta and all of that stuff. He would come down in the run game. You could put him in the slot off the edge, blitz him. A lot of people too would put him at safety. I can't remember whether or not this was after they banned duplicates, but it felt like you couldn't go a game without playing some type of Night Train Lane card. So I went ahead and threw Night Train as my number 8. So Night Train Lane, number 8. And then, watch this one more. Off the edge, Night Train coming down, making plays in the run game. But next on the list, number 7, I have Madden 20 Randy Moss. Randy Moss is one of those guys who was great in real life and is also always great in Madden. So I specifically chose Madden 20 Randy Moss because of that Moss X Factor. That was kind of the beginning of just the overpowered X Factors. If you were playing against him, you pretty much either had to double, triple team him. And sometimes he would still come down with the ball, so it wasn't coded properly. So yeah, that is the next one. I felt like just no list is really right without some type of Randy Moss when we're talking about best cards in the history of Madden. Straight cash, homie, is what I would used to say anytime I saw Randy Moss one-on-one in this game. But moving to the next one, we have Quadfather. Quadfather, he was another one of that same vein where just the X Factor was just so crazy. He kind of completely shifted the meta of this game. You had so many people just coming out running the ball, guaranteed to break a tackle. And more times than not, you pretty much guarantee to break 2, 3, 4 tackles on a specific play. You couldn't go a game like online without playing against a Quadfather card. So much so they ultimately ended up nerfing them. It's just one of those EA things, just like you know the card is OP when you build it, but you still put it in the game, and then you act surprised when people abuse the ability. But that's another topic for another day. This Quadfather card was super dominant. Ended up getting nerfed, like all the OP cards, but had to throw him on the list. AJ Dillon Quadfather. Now, Madden 16 Odell Beckham. If you were around for this game, do you know pretty much every receiver card was kind of OP. We used to have DBs in this game doing the Odell catch. Like they put him on the cover, so you knew he was just gonna be OP. Pretty much you couldn't go a game without seeing the one-hand Odell catch. They modeled the entire game after Odell. It was actually absurd. We had 65 overall DBs, 75 overall DBs in franchise, one-hand catch Mawson receivers. So that was crazy. But MUT Master Odell Beckham, if you had this card at any point, you kind of just throw it up to him. No X factor was needed, and Odell was more than likely going to come up with the ball. And this is back when MUT Master was actually pretty difficult to complete, so it wasn't like everybody had the card. You really had to grind to get MUT Master. For the most part, it was really only available if you either slaved the game or you spent a lot on packs. But MUT Master Odell, it was a great time in Madden. I'm not gonna lie, super nostalgic kind of watching these clips. For my number 4, I have Madden 20 Michael Vick. Vick is one of those guys just like Randy Moss where you can kind of pick any iteration of the card. The first Vick card to come out is pretty much always the most OP card in the game for a decent amount of time. But I threw a couple clips of Dubby up here. His stick work is crazy with Vick, pause. But this pretty much goes viral every year on Twitter. He'll go and post it. So I just love to watch it. And just looking back at this game, the players was moving so much faster than they move now. Like Madden 20, it gets a lot of hate, but looking back at the cards, like it was actually a super fun game. So I really love this Vick card. Pretty much any Vick card, the first one to come out. If you just have to kind of get used to having that left-handed quarterback. Just like look at this throw, Michael Vick rolling to the right, perfect throw on the run over top of Sean Taylor. It was wild, man. I know they kind of dialed it back at the beginning of the year, but every single quarterback was throwing like that. But Vick, combo with the fact that he was mad fast, solid release, like you couldn't go wrong with a Michael Vick card. So pretty much any year of the game though, like Vick is always the best quarterback in the game when he first drops. And then you didn't think you would get a list on Madden without seeing a Bo Jackson, did you? Bo Jackson, Michael Vick, Randy Moss, those are like the Madden legends who you kind of think of. Now, Bo is one of those guys where we all know he probably would have been one of the GOATs if injuries didn't derail his career. But I think personally his Madden legacy more than makes up for what he wasn't able to do in the NFL. So Bo Jackson, Madden 15. I could have threw any of the I think it was Madden 18 that we had the out of position Bo Jackson. We always have an OP Bo Jackson card, but I chose this one mainly because I ended up winning a giveaway on Twitter and getting granted this card. And I used them for maybe a week or two. I didn't end up selling them, and that was my first time getting 1,000,000 coins on Madden. So super nostalgic for me. But yeah, Bo Jackson. Then the next one, we got Calvin Johnson. More specifically, we got the 70 overall free safety Calvin Johnson. So this is the first like pretty low overall card we have seen since that Dre Archer. But if you was there, then you know Calvin Johnson free safety was that card. This is kind of the beginning of all of the out of position safeties, I think, in my opinion. There was obviously cards before him, but that Calvin Johnson free safety in the right hands, like this video is Eddie cards, and he definitely was the right hands. So if you haven't watched this video before, I'm gonna link it in the description. It is absolute cinema. Eddie cards, real OG Madden content creator. Kind of started it off from me, probably my favorite Madden YouTuber ever. But this is before like Acrobat and Lurker. So every safety couldn't make these diving animations. So it was only super limited to people like Calvin Johnson in the game. But yeah, this Calvin Johnson free safety card, he was a monster. He could cover the whole field, jump up, come down with anything. So I really miss this era of Madden when the user mattered that much more. You can start off on one side of the field, sprint all the way over to the left, and somehow always end up with the ball. And Addy cards, he just had a way to always be in position alert. All the catchphrases, all that stuff, super fun. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about Calvin Johnson. And as you can see, Calvin was making plays. I really wanted to put him as number 1. But I feel like we all know who number 1 is going to be. But before we do that, I just want to throw in some honorable mentions. We got Anthony Barr, Luke Kuechly, Isaiah Simmons, Leon Sandcastle, Taylor Mays, Landry, the Combine Warrior promo. I think this is Madden 25, and then Terrell Pryor. He was an absolute monster at quarterback. And then we also got the quarterback Walter Payton and Zadarius Smith. All of those cards were absolute monsters. If there's any you think I missed, I know I got to do Pat Tillman, Cam Chancellor, all of those guys. But those are some honorable mentions before we get to what we know. I feel like everyone knew it was going to be Madden 20 Eric Dickerson. NFL 100 Eric Dickerson. It was a wild time on Madden. Every single game you loaded into on Weekend League was Eric Dickerson. Pretty much if they had the coins to acquire the card, you was playing Eric Dickerson. Every single game, you was getting some type of super run-heavy formation. It was like I form close or anything like that. And you was going to have to fight for your life to tackle him in the backfield. Or else you were going to get a run play every single play until you did that. So it was tough, but I feel like everyone knew we had to have Dickerson as that one spot. NFL 100 Dickerson was basically the quad father before the quad father. He kind of started all of that always on X Factor stuff. Unfortunately, which is all we see nowadays in Madden, especially as you get super late into the year. But yeah, that is my list. I feel like everyone knew Eric Dickerson was going to end up being number 1. So overall, if you watched this far, thank you for watching. Once again, if you feel like I missed anybody, make sure you leave them in the comments. Matter of fact, leave your favorite card in the comments if you watch this far. For me, it's definitely going to be Madden 25, Thurman Thomas. Once again, thank you for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.